Hello, hello, hello. How are you? This is Els Company from Bemis Crafty Corner. And today we're going to be looking at this. This is, I saw this a while ago, and a few weeks back I actually pulled it out and decided I was going to dupe it. So this is the accordion folio from Ideology. And I gave you all the measurements to do this from, legal size file folders or from regular file folders or 8.5 by 11 paper. And we put one together. Hold on. See, we put one together. And somebody said, why didn't you give us mats for it? So I'm going to come back and we're going to do the mats today, okay? So this video, I will link the original video in the description box below for this one, as well as putting all of the measurements in. So let's take a look at what it is we're working with here. This is a folio that has a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here, so that this can be opened and made, thicker. There's a little flap slot pocket on the side here. There is a small pocket here, a little flap that folds down here, and then there's this accordion piece on the inside. Okay, now this can be adhered down, and you could just pull stuff out. You can glue it together and make two pockets, however you want to do this, or two pockets on this side. It doesn't matter. But you could use this. You can make pockets out of it, or you can just put it in here and just use it as an accordion where it comes out. And you could make it into pockets, and you could slide it in over here if you wanted to. So, there's a couple of different things that you can do with this. So I'm going to give you the mats today, and let me get out the supply list. And then we'll do the mats, and maybe we'll do a little further decorating on this. Okay, so I'll be back with supplies in just a second. Okay, so supplies on this one. Obviously, you're going to want one of the folios. The video to make the folio is linked in the description box below, and there's a couple of different ways that you can make this out of a couple of different materials. So go and check out that video so you can get the folio. And then once you're ready to decorate, you're going to want a corner rounder is optional. You're going to want paper. This is Bo Bunny's Province. It just has some writing on it, so I thought it would be kind of cool. Your glue, ink, dauber, paper trimmer. Okay? So that's it for the supplies. Let me get this out of the way. I've already cut the pieces that we need for this. So let me tell you what these are. So you have a 3.5 by 5 3/4 pieces. All of these pieces are going to be 5 3/4 except the flap. Okay. And then you have two pieces that are 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/4. And then this is the flap piece. So these are two pieces that are 4 by 3 1/4. Then you have two pieces that are 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. Then you have two pieces that are 3 1/4. Yes, 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. Then one piece that's 2 1/4 by 5 3/4, and then four pieces. These are optional, that are 5 3/4 by 3/8 of an inch. Okay. So we are now going to get started on this. So I'm going to set these to the side. I'm going to bring the folio over. I want to round my corners. I'm going to get rid of this part first. I did not give you measurements for these flaps at this time. I will eventually. But I'm going to round the corners on this. So I'm going to get out my corner rounder. I'm going to round these corners. Those are the only corners I'm going to round. Okay. And I'm going to start inking this. So I'm going to ink all my edges all the way around, both sides, all my folds on the outside of this fold, inside and outside of these folds, outside of this fold. If I'm not gluing this down, then I'm going to do this one as well. Okay. So go ink, and then we'll come back and we're going to start putting this together. Don't forget to ink your pieces. And the only ones here that we need to be really concerned about are these little ones. You're going to want to put one here so that you can see which direction. And then you're going to put one up and you have your writing in the right direction. So you're going to round those corners as well. Okay? So, ink your papers, ink your piece. We'll be back to put this thing together. Be right back. All right. So, I think I've inked everything. I think. Never entirely sure until, we get down to it. Okay. Let me see here. All right, so there's this one. And then there's these. And then this. And I got one of those. Two of those. One of these and one of those. Okay, one of those. All right. So I've inked this. You can see I've inked every outside edge, all of the folds and scores, all inked. All right, so this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we'll turn it over. 8, 9, 10. Okay? So, let's get these things in order. Alright, so the first thing we want is going to be this one right here. And this is the 3.5 by 5 3/4. So we are looking for the 3.5 inch piece, which is this one. This is 1. Put it down. 2 is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. 3 3/4. 3 3/4. That's that one. Number 3 is 3 and 4 are our small pieces. 5 is the 4 1/4. That's that one. And let's see, what is the next one? 5, 6 is 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Just one of these, I think. Yep, 3 1/4. And then our 2 1/4. And then we're going to go back to our 3 1/4. And the 4 1/4. And the 3 3/4. This is the proper order for these to be in. So we're going to work on the first one first, and that is this one here. And this is pretty easy, okay? So we're going to take this and put it on here, and we're going to make sure that it's even side to side. We're going to pull it up twice the distance that we want it at. And then we're just going to draw a line back here. And then we're just going to chop that off. You can do this with your scissors if you want. You can do it with your cutter, however you want to do it. Okay? And then this piece, you're going to have to ink that edge. It's really kind of the only complicated one on here, all right? All right, so now this will fit perfectly on here. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down. You can tape this if you want, glue, however you want to attach it. We all know I love my glue. So I got that one on. That's one. Two is this piece. Okay? So again, we're just going to glue this on. Then we're going to do these two flaps. Now make sure, remember, we did one direction and one the other direction, so that whether it's open or closed, it's directional. So we're going to make sure we get this on the right piece. Now, I will tell you this. If you have made your base out of a file folder, it's okay to use the thicker cardstock, you know, like you get in your great buy pad type things, you know, pad paper, scrapbook paper. It's okay to use the thicker lightweight cardstock ones, but if you do the 110 pound, I would highly recommend that you use paper, okay? Regular scrapbook paper, not lightweight cardstock, okay? All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Piece number 5 goes right here. I'm going to get out the other glue because it's easier for my hand. Hold on. Let me see. This. There we go. Yeah, this glue is just easier on my hand because I don't have to squeeze it as hard to get the glue to come out because the tip's not as narrow. Alright, there we go. I'm making sure that all my writing's going in the right direction. Okay? And I'm matching up my seams. Okay? Now, see how we have an empty space here? That's what these are for. Okay? You can leave those blank if you want to, or you can put these little pieces in. And then, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is this piece here. It fits right there. Now, if there's, you know, like a little bit of a movement here, because this is where you did that joining, if this measurement is a little bit off, it's okay. Just trim it a little bit, you know? Give it a little shave, all right? But this piece was designed to go almost to the fold because this piece is going to come over, so you can have that piece at the top here, okay? And again, I'm going to go ahead and put one of these in, making sure that I have it going in the right direction. Go. And then, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goes on the outside. Nothing goes on this panel, okay? Now, because this comes in, I did cut this so that it goes this way. Now, I can see that it needs a little bit of an adjustment. And that is because I probably measured a different one than this unit here when I originally did these. Let me put some ink on this. All right. So there are a couple of places where your measurements might be off. One is where the joint is. So this one might be off. Same thing on the other side of it. And this flap, okay? So these are just two places where it might be off. Okay, so now before we move on, I'm going to glue down this bottom piece here. And I'm going to glue this pocket down, okay? All right, so I'm going to let all of that dry, and then we're going to come back and do the other side. I'll be right back. So now this side is dry. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to flip this over. 8, 9, and 10. So this is 8, and it goes right there. Glue. Gluey, gluey, glue. A gluey, 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 glue. Yes. It's kind of the song of my people. Gluey, gluey, glue. All right. And again, I can put on one of these little strips if I want. I don't have to. It's up to me. I like them. I think it looks cool. But entirely up to you. Making sure that I got the writing in the right direction. Lining up top and bottom. There we go. And then this, the biggest piece goes in the back in the middle. Missed that part. one more strip. And then the last piece, of course, goes on the outside edge. Now, if you are going to, put ties on this, you're probably going to want to do that across this back piece. But I'm not going to use a tie for mine, so I didn't put the tie on. But just so you guys know. Last piece, making sure it's in the right direction. Okay. All right, so we have that all done. And now we have to make kind of a decision. Are we going to put this over here? In which case, we cannot use the 1/2 inch. Do we want to glue it down here? Are we going to turn these into pockets and then a piece in the back? Do we want to glue down maybe this side and just have this slide in here behind it? Just like that. There's a couple of different configurations, but most importantly, we're going to get the measurements for everything for this. I'll be back with those and we'll get those pieces cut, okay? I'll be right back. To do these, it's relatively easy. You need to cut your paper 3 3/4 inches across, and that gives you that space on either side. And then once you have that where you want it side to side, you're going to put it up twice the distance and just draw a line and trim that part off. Okay? If you're making these pockets, these don't have to go all the way to the bottom. So if I were going to make this a pocket, here, then this piece I could cut out of a smaller scrap because I'd only need it to be that much covered. Okay? Let me turn this over so you guys can see it a little better. See? I would only need to use a scrap to cover this. Okay? So, it's all in how you're going to be using this. So, I've cut this one. And then I cut the next one. And then I'm going to cut the next one and the next one and the next one, okay? So again, take those out. I have one for here, and I need one for here. So I'm just going to take this, put it in, decide where it is in the center, double my distance at the bottom, draw a line, and then cut that off. Okay? Now once I have all my front pieces, all I then have to do is make a secondary of each one. So I just have to line them up. So we got 1, 2, 3, we need to do 4. Doubling my distance at the bottom. Take that part off. Checking for size. Perfect. And then I'm going to do one more for my back piece. Okay, So I'm going to cut this last one, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to cut the other pieces for the other side, because I'm going to do mine where it opens. Okay, I want mine to come completely open, so I'm going to be putting paper on both sides. So I'm going to cut the last one, and then I'll be back and we'll walk through how to do these. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, so we have our front pieces for here, 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 and here. And we want to have pieces that go on our back pieces for these. So we're going to get 4 pieces of 5" by 3 3/4 and 1 piece of 5" by 3 1/2. Okay. And all we're going to do is take these, put them front together, line up our corners, draw in our line, and trim these off. Okay. So now we have our original, and then we have our back piece. Okay. So we're going to go through both of these piles. We're going to make our lines, and then we're going to do our cuts. Okay. Right sides together, draw a line. Right sides together, all lined up. Draw the line. Right sides together. Draw a line. And then our last piece. Right sides together. Draw our line. Now we're going to cut all of these down, and then we should have 2 mirrored sets. Okay? Okay, so I went ahead and inked this when I inked these. So I inked all of my seams, back, front, the whole thing, okay? And for the ease of getting this done quickly, I'm going to go ahead and just use roller tape on here, because this is a no stress area. Okay, and I'm just going to put the first set down, and then I'm going to put the second set down. So let me change out this tape real quick, because the one that I actually like. I don't like tape that's a dot tape, you know. But since there's no real stress on this area, I'm comfortable using tape here. And it does make it go a little bit faster. Okay. And I'm just going to repeat this process with the other side. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to repeat the process with the other set on this side, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have all my mats on front and back, and I want to put a tab here. So I've got my little tab punch and a scrap. I'm going to go ahead and punch out a tab and ink this up. We'll see what this looks like, but I'm thinking I might do a little alteration here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut this tab off right here. And then I'll re-ink that. And I'm going to glue this on. Now, since I'm inking over, gluing over ink, it's going to take a minute to really set up. But it lines up perfect with the edge right here, so I can pull the tab. I like it. All right, so let's get our actual piece out. And we'll take a look at what the whole finished thing looks like. So this is the folio. And it now has, let me get a tag so we can see this. So it now has a pocket here that's open all the way out. It has a pocket over here that you can put things in. It has this little flip down, which you can turn into a pocket if you want to. You can glue down one side or the other, and that will hold your piece in there. Or you could just put this piece in and hope that it stays. If I was going to put this in, I would gusset this. I would certainly put a gusset on here. And then here's your fold out accordion piece. Okay, so put it all together. And at this point, you could go ahead and wrap some ribbon or twine around that and tie it off. It is golden. All you need to do now is decorate it. This is a very neutral palette, and I did that on purpose so that I could, at a later time, you know, add little bits and things of, you know, flair that I want to make it stand out and be a little brighter. Okay, that's it. That's how you decorate it. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, go ahead and, you know, you can instant message me. You can email me, whatever. Reach out on Facebook. Let's see what else. Leave it in the comments section. I'll get back to you there too as well. And hopefully you'll make this project and it will be absolutely gorgeous. I know it will be. But until I see you again, my friends, remember, subscribe if you haven't. Give me a thumb any way you want. And take a look at the description box below or the community tab, both of which are packed full of information on everything that I have coming out, all new videos, things like that. And I will see you next time. Stay well. Bye-bye.